Spartans, let me be clear. The fact that we are in this mess is an outrage. It's an outrage because we didn't get here by accident. This was not a normal part of the business cycle. This did not happen because of a few bad apples. This financial crisis is a direct result of the greed and irresponsibility that has dominated Washington and Wall Street for years. Speculators who game the system and regulators who look the other way. The lobbyists who bought their way into our government. It's a result of an economic philosophy that says we should give more and more to those with the most and hope that prosperity trickles down on everyone else. A philosophy that views even the most common sense regulations as unwise, as unnecessary. The market's always king. Well, this crisis is nothing less than a final verdict on this failed philosophy. And it is a philosophy I am running for president to put to an end. Enough is enough. Because despite my opponent's best efforts to make you think otherwise, this is the philosophy he's embraced during his 26 years in Washington. Over the past few days, he's talked a lot about getting tough on Wall Street. But over the past few decades, he's fought against the very rules of the road that could have stopped this mess. He says he'll take on corporate lobbyists now, but he puts 7 of the biggest lobbyists in Washington in charge of his campaign. And if you think those lobbyists are working day and night to elect him just to put themselves out of business, well, I've got a bridge to sell you up in Alaska. The truth is my opponent's philosophy isn't just wrong-headed. It reveals how out of touch he really is. Because how else could he offer $200 billion in tax cuts for big corporations at a time like this? How else could he propose giving the average Fortune 500 CEO a $700,000 tax cut at a time when the millions of Americans are struggling just to pay their bills? How else could he come up with an economic plan that leaves out more than 100 million middle-class families from getting their share at the very moment they need help the most? Senator McCain just doesn't get it. But Michigan, you get it, and I get it, and that's why we're here today. Because that's who we are. This is America. We're nations that face down tougher times than these. We face down war and we face down great depressions, great challenges and great threats. And in each and every moment, we have risen to meet these challenges because we've never forgotten that fundamental truth that here, in this country, in the United States of America, our destiny is not written for us, it is written by us. We choose our destiny. Reclaim our economic future. Part of what that means is getting this rescue plan that's before Congress done. I know there are many people who were outraged when this administration initially asked the American people to sign a blank check to solve the crisis. I was outraged too. I spent a lot of my time being outraged over this administration. But that's why I fought to make sure the rescue plan protects taxpayers, provides oversight and accountability, helps struggling homeowners stay in their homes, and doesn't reward the Wall Street executives whose greed and irresponsibility led us into this perilous moment. While these taxpayer protections are not part of the rescue plan, this plan is still not perfect. It is what we must do to prevent a crisis from turning into catastrophe. But understand, even with this plan, we may face a long and difficult road to recovery. And that's why, if I'm president, passing this rescue plan won't be the end of what we do to strengthen our economy. It's only the beginning. It'll be the beginning of a long people are achieving their middle class dreams. A plan that will create millions of new jobs, help families keep up with rising costs, relieve the burden of crushing health care, educate the next generation of Americans with the skills and knowledge to compete with any workers anywhere in the world. People have asked me whether the size of the plan that Congress is voting on, together with the weakening economy, means that the next president will have to scale back his agenda and some of his proposals. And there's no doubt that some programs or policies that I've proposed on the campaign trail may require more time to achieve. But I reject the idea that you can't build a strong middle class at a time when our economy is weak. I believe building a strong middle class is the key to making our economy strong. Because you don't need a bunch of empty promises. Let me be clear about what we need to do. To create new jobs, we'll not only invest in rebuilding our crumbling roads and bridges, our outdated electricity grid, laying broadband lines in rural communities, we're also going to strengthen the auto industry that built the middle class in this country. A number of auto companies are showing real leadership. They're starting to build the fuel-efficient cars of the future. And I applaud them for it. But I refuse to accept that Washington has to stand idly by while foreign automakers outpace us. Nobody's been working harder than Governor Granholm and Senator Stabenow, and we've got a package to get loan guarantees so that the automakers can start retooling. But we're going to need a president who is fast-tracking that money, a president who is partnering with them, a president who cares about Michigan, a president who cares about the auto industry, and I'm running for president to make sure that part of the future. Hold on more. I won't be a president who waits 6 years to meet with the auto industry. I'll be a president who finally keeps the promise that's made year after year by ensuring that funding goes to the automakers to retool their factories, to make fuel-efficient alternative fuels. And we're going to make sure that the research and development that's needed for this new energy economy is done right here, because we've got some of the greatest universities in the world right here in Michigan. And will drive our economy in the 21st century. And as we fight to reverse the decline in manufacturing that's happened over the last 8 years, we're also going to bring manufacturing into the 21st century. We will build an American green energy sector, a new energy economy. You know, when John F. Kennedy looked up and said, "We are going to the moon in 10 years," the engineers didn't know how to do it. They didn't understand what could get us there, but what they knew was that when America puts its mind to something, we cannot be stopped. And JFK understood that, and we have to understand that about energy as well. I have said that we are going to end our dependence on foreign oil in 10 years' time.